Right, so producer Pav, I want to jump straight into it and get your thoughts on it. Is Pochettino everything that he's hyped up to be? And, you know, what has he won? He's been at Spurs since 2014.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, mate?
What has he won? Absolutely nothing. Is he all he's hyped up to be? There's a big misconception with Pochettino, right? A lot of people think, you know, he's still a young manager.
Yeah.
He's still, you know, earning his stripes, and he's still got, you know, at least 30 more years in him at the top level. Yeah, he's 47 years old. But Peaky, let me ask you something. Pep Guardiola and Jose Mourinho, what did they win by the time they were 47? Let me tell you what they won, right?
Tell me, man.
I was looking up at the statistics, right? I was a bit shocked that these managers had won this at this certain age, and Pochettino has not even got to that level at all. So Jose had won 2 Champions Leagues by the age of 47. Pep, on the other hand, 2 Champions Leagues, Premier League title, 3 La Ligas and 3 Bundesligas.
But with that, could you back Poch up a bit and say, look, he's been in charge of Tottenham on a bit of a shoestring budget? Whereas obviously you had
look
Mourinho.
What Jose done with Porto and Inter, man.
True.
Do you know what I mean?
True.
Obviously we're in different areas of the game right now.
Yeah.
Money's a lot more prevalent in the game. Wages and signings are harder to get. With a smaller budget.
But from Pochettino, look, he's taken Tottenham from what were like a mid-table club, season in, season out. You know, they were never kind of challenging for top 4.
They had the odd
season, but look, consistently since he's come in, he's taken them to challenging for top 4s. He's taken them to a couple of semi-finals. I know they're not finals, and
But at the end of the day, look, you can play nice football. You can get to a good stage. You can become consistent. Fair to give him a clap. He's done well there, but. End of the day, what's the manager and club judged on?
But for me, I get that.
They're judged on silverware.
But a club like Tottenham, look, they've never really been known for, a team that are going to be challenging for titles or winning titles consistently or cups. And I know it's been a long period of time since they've won a trophy. But I think the last one was back then, it was the Carling Cup at the time. But I think what he brings is that stability. And I think if you ask any Tottenham fan, as a fan of the club, what do you like in him? A, the style of play, but secondly, I think they think that he brings a bit of security.
Do you not think it would be a bit of a David Moyes situation if we brought him in? Let me say why.
Yeah.
Obviously, we brought Moyes in because of that whole stability factor, proven in the Premier League for being consistent with Everton, but hadn't won anything. That was a big doubt.
But for me, he was consistent with Everton as a sort of 8th or 7th finish place in the end of the league, whereas Pochettino's taken it a bit further, where he's taken Spurs from that position.
But there's a correlation. They haven't won anything.
That is the argument.
If you bring Pochettino in and expect titles and Champions Leagues and FA Cups, then how are you going to expect that? He's not done it before. And you're expecting him to do it at one of the biggest clubs in the world.
The thing is, we saw Louis van Gaal come out and he made some, quite bold comments about the football club and the way it's run and the players he couldn't bring in and he could bring in. But off camera, we were talking, he was given funds. Whether it was to sign players or not, or whether they were on free transfers, he was given a bit of a budget there where he was putting people like Falcao, Ibrahimovic, he brought Di Maria, all on big wages. Di Maria paid big money for. I think if you gave 250 million to Pochettino and brought him in as a manager of Manchester United, I don't think he would spend all of that in one go. I think he would spend it wisely and get the good blend.
He'd spend it wisely. He'd probably bring in some good youth product, and the players he would spend the big money on, they'd be smartly picked players that are going to definitely benefit the team. But the question I have is, would you be able to trust him with a big budget? Is he able to manage that sort of, 200-300 million pound war chest at a big club?
I think he will, and I'll tell you why. Because look, he's dealing with players who, in terms of English football in the national team, you've got Harry Kane, you've got Dele Alli, you've got players like that who have got big reputations. He manages them well. If you look at Harry Kane, he's been, the poster boy of English football now for a few seasons.
Yeah.
But he's managed him very well. He still seems quite humble and he works. You know what I like about him as a striker? He works hard for the team. Strikers sometimes come with a bit of arrogance, a bit of a swag, and if things aren't really going their way, they can shrug their shoulders a bit. But if you watch Harry Kane play, he puts the graft in and he'll lead he'll chase the ball down from the front, and he'll lead that line of defence right from up the press that he puts on. Dele Alli, I know his form's dipped a lot, but he's another one who kind of a lot of pressure put on him, and he's kind of managed his players very, very well. So I think.
How long do you think that Pochettino can get by at Spurs without a trophy?
I think, now they're in their new stadium. If he remains a Tottenham manager, I think he'll be given a bit of a budget, whether it's this summer or, say, next summer. If he's there for another season with the same group of players, he'll still get a top 4 finish or challenging for top 4 because that group of players are still at a good age. They've just come off the back of a Champions League final, albeit a defeat, but they've had that experience. So next season, if he's got the same group of players and he doesn't bring any major signings in, that team will still work well. So
if he came, let's put it like this. Obviously, we've got Ole right now.
Yeah.
If I was to ask you how many years would you, before a major trophy with Ole, how many years would you be patient with him for?
Thing is now, the football club have made a decision to bring Ole in. They've given him a deal, 3-year deal. They have to give him time. We cannot get
so how many years would you expect
Ole,
before you expected a trophy out of him?
Honestly, 3 years.
3 years, okay. What
3
about
years.
Pochettino then? Would you expect less time than that?
I think
more pressure on him because he's made his name in Premier League?
I think maybe after 2 years, I'd give Pochettino one. If he came in today and you gave him the summer and a bit of a transfer kitty to sort his squad out, I'll give him next season to get us into top 4, and then the following season with a Christmas transfer window, and then one next summer. I'd give him that following season to pick up some silverware, and I honestly believe it will be a stage and a platform for him to do that. You know, with the crowd and with
He's pretty much saying Pochettino's a safer bet in terms of getting us.
I think so, definitely.
The quicker bet as well.
100%, because you look at his record since he's been Tottenham manager since 2014. There's only been one season that he's finished outside that top 4. So for me, he is a safe bet, and I know he might need time to adjust and whatnot, but I think he can bring that because he's dealt or played at that kind of level. So it'd be interesting to see for sure.
Definitely.
Like the podcast, so do I. Check out the Pints and Pundits podcast with myself, where I have fans regularly joining me for a few beers and we discuss all things United. You can find this on all popular podcast platforms, so give it a subscribe. Right, so producer Pav, I want to get your thoughts on it. Is now the right time to make these changes because of the way the club's been over the last 6 to 12 months? Is it the right time, if Pochettino's available or they wanted to get him, is it the time to go after him?
If United had wanted Pochettino, now is probably the optimum time because they're coming off that Champions League loss, so there could be talk in Pochettino's head, this is the furthest I can take them. Also, obviously Real Madrid has been a club that Pochettino's been linked to for a number of years now. And who knows, in the next couple of years, Pochettino could end up there, and that whole relationship with Man United, or dream of him being at United, could be gone. So if they did want to go with Poch, I would say now's the time, because Ole's tied down to a 3-year contract, but I don't think his wages and payout to get him out would be that high.
Yeah.
So if they did want to go with Poch, Ed's probably thinking commercially and the right time is now.
Do you think Ed would consider it, or do you think he even cares that if they were to get rid of Ole tomorrow and bring Poch in, about the backlash he might receive, of the mistreatment or whatever of Ole as a United legend? Do you think that even crosses his mind, or is he ruthless enough to make the right, I would say, football decisions, but the guy seems absolutely clueless on football decisions?
I think it's obviously going to play a part in his decision making, but at the end of the day, he's about the numbers and he's about the commercial side of Manchester United. If the commercial side of Manchester United relies on keeping the fan base happy and us winning trophies, then you could say Pochettino's the right fit, but then also keeping the fans happy. If they got rid of Ole, let's say, in the next couple of weeks, I'm not sure what the crowd reaction would be.
I was just going to ask you, because since Sir Alex Ferguson came out, and retired, there's been this whole thing, and it's been bandaged around quite a few times about, we've still got a bit of an old boys network at the football club in terms of the people in certain positions. Is now the time? Have we got to break free of that? And I know we've touched on it before about bringing in a European director of football who understands the game a lot better than, say, just somebody because he's played for United. Do we need to break free from that? Do we need to take it to that next level and become a bit more accustomed to the current football kind of industry, the way it is?
It's a £1 billion industry, right? There's enough money in it. In an industry that's holding that much money and value and so dependent on success, and we've gone 7 years without major success, right? You do have to be cutthroat and be ruthless in a situation like that. So if it is a situation of Pochettino's going to get us trophies and Pochettino's going to get us to that end goal of being back on top a year or two quicker than Ole, or possibly than Ole could ever do, then you've got to sit down and you've got to make a tough decision, and you've got to make that decision regardless of what the fan backlash is going to be. Like
we saw it in the week, there was an article released in The Guardian. Louis van Gaal came out, and we mentioned it before, he's quite bold, and in there he said he felt that his sacking as manager of Manchester United was quite harsh, but he also understood it because he believed the club knew that Jose was going to become available, so Ryan Giggs was being given that temporary role, caretaker manager till the end of the season, then Jose came in. Obviously, he had a bit of time to run on his contract still, but we're in that kind of situation now where Ole's in place. If Pochettino became available, is he the better man to come in? Is he better suited, or is he a better fit to come in to take us to where the fans and the club want to be short term, and then obviously moving forward long term? The football club have been chopping and changing it since Sir Alex Ferguson left so frequently, and we're not used to that as a football club. For the last 26 years, we had the same man in charge. So. Yeah. At the minute, we need to decide.
That's one of the things, consistency. So whether it is Pochettino, whether it's Ole coming in or starting the season as manager, whoever it is, they've got to stick with him for the 4 or 5 years now. Regardless of what that first season's like, even if it's a worse season than the season we had, which is probably impossible, right?
Yeah.
But they just got to stick with it. I mean, look what's happened with Liverpool and Klopp. He didn't have the best start. He didn't have he didn't get the players he wanted straight away, but he fought for Van Dijk, he fought for Alisson, he got to the Champions League final, lost, came back and won it. Why? Because it's consistency and he kept at it.
Is that where we've got to change our mindset and expectations as fans to actually understand that, we're not going to be competing, make a few signings this summer, we're not going to compete for the league next year.
I think fans know that now. I think after seeing the whole Huddersfield and Cardiff and that bullshit that happened towards the end of last season, I think fans know that it's a massive rebuild job. Right, and we're going to discuss this rebuild job in the podcast this week as well. A bit more into that. But it's a massive rebuild job, and it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in 2 years' time. It might not even happen in 4 years' time. Because
what I see online a lot is I see a lot of the United fan base coming in and slating, say, the team, the starting 11 that we see week in, week out. But how many of us actually understand that this problem lies a lot deeper than just the 11 players we see out on the field? There's a massive problem at the football club from top to bottom. We've heard Gary Neville come out and publicly say that there's weeds in this football club who are absolutely ruining the foundations that have been built up over the last however many years. We'll touch more on that on the podcast, as you say, because we could go on for a long time about it. What would be your decision though, Pav? Like obviously on this, Pochettino or Ole. My heart says one thing, my head says the other.
I'm probably in the same boat. I mean, if neither were manager of Manchester United right now, who would you go for? If Ole was never appointed and they...
If Ole wasn't appointed...
It's Pochettino all day, isn't it?
100%,
So then why isn't it Pochettino now?
And it's true you say that because look, we had a bit of a freakish 12 games where Ole came in and we won everything. The PSG game, everyone was raving, emotional decisions, but we finished on relegation form. We lost to two clubs who had already been relegated. It was relegation form, let's face it, at the end of the season. And as a manager, you're capable, or you should be capable of turning that around. The last 8-9 games or whatever it was, the run of form was absolutely appalling. Before we wrap it up and I get your full views.
You need an answer from me.
No, one more question with Ed Woodward. Look at do you think he would trust the money that he's going to make available this summer better with Pochettino or with Ole? Do you think, if there was a more established manager like Pochettino in charge?
He's definitely going to trust. He would trust him more with Pochettino just based on experience of signing players in the past.
Do you fear Ole might become or is a bit of a yes man to the board and to the club? Because we've seen...
Well, Ole speaks very well in his press conferences, but there's a difference to speaking in the public in a press conference, speaking in the boardroom with Ed and co. So who knows? We're going to find out if he's a yes man. We'll know by Christmas if he's a yes man. In terms of which one I'd go for, I'll stick with Ole right now, simply because of the current circumstances. Because we brought him in, we saw a bit of potential with that first portion of his part of being in charge at Man United, and we saw the bad side as well. So I don't think it'd be fair to let go of him now. Give him a fair crack. Let him make his transfer. See what he does with the team. See what he does with the tactics, formation, spirit in the team, and then I'd like to judge him at the end of the season. I'll stick with Ole.
Same on that, and my views are similar. The only thing that I would like to add to that is I've stuck with Ole since day one, even through them last 8 or 9 games, because I believe he's not working with his squad, his tactics. He hasn't had a pre-season. Pre-season is one of the most important parts of any season. You're preparing that team for what lies ahead for the season to come. So he has to put his marker down, and after this sort of pre-season he has and going into the new season, it'll be interesting to see what he's implemented, what our style of play is, because I don't believe he knows what it is at the moment. So you'll see, with the signings he brings in, it'll be interesting to see come November towards Christmas time. Let's see where we're at. I'll always back him. He's a United legend.
Absolutely.
And I think the club need to stick with him. If our decision is to stick with him now and not make our move to get someone else in, like Pochettino, we've got to stick with him now for 1-2 seasons. Or are we just going to keep fading away like a club like Arsenal has over the last few seasons?
I think I would like to see Ole in, and I see Ole remaining as well. I don't think Ed's going to make a cutthroat decision like that right now. I think they'll stick with Ole.
Listen, producer Pav, it's been a pleasure as always. Guys, don't forget we're going to be bringing out our podcast out in a week. You can catch it on all the major podcast platforms, and we're going to be talking in depth a lot more about the whole rebuilding process at United. There's a lot to discuss. But thanks for tuning in. Don't forget hit the like, comment and subscribe buttons as well. Thanks for checking out the latest video. Don't forget to click here for more of our great content and give us a subscribe.